Ambassador Ismail Shergi, Commissioner for Peace and Security of the AU, Acting Commissioner for Social Affairs, Mr. Martial de Paul Ikunga, Professor Benyam Dawit Mezmour, Chairperson of the African Committee of Experts on the Rights and Welfare of the Child, Madam Leila Zerougi, Special Representative of the UN Secretary General for Children in Armed Conflict, Ms. Leila Pakala, UNICEF Regional Director for Eastern and Southern Africa, and Mr. John Graham, Country Director of Save the Children. Excellencies, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to once again welcome you to another important session of the Peace and Security Council focusing on children in armed conflict in Africa. Last month, under the chairmanship of my brother and colleague, His Excellency Ambassador Paul Lolo of Nigeria, we had two very fruitful deliberations on silencing the guns, prerequisites for realizing conflict-free Africa by the year 2020, as well as unconstitutional changes of government and popular uprising in Africa, challenges and lessons learned. In this respect, I'm convinced that we all benefit from the different ideas and pertinent recommendations put forward by the participants. I wish, therefore, to welcome our invited guests on behalf of the Peace and Security Council. I would like to extend appreciation for devoting your time and accepting our invitation despite your busy schedule. Excellencies, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, as indicated in our concept note for this debate affords us another opportunity to exchange information, ideas, and knowledge with a view to contributing and giving impetus to the efforts we are all making in mitigating the suffering of our children, the future generation of this beautiful continent, due to the persistent armed conflicts. Equally, it is important to underline that this debate, which is being held days before the commemoration of the 10th anniversary of the African Union Peace and Security Council, an occasion which marks a significant milestone for our country. The 10th anniversary affords the PSC the time for reflection and critical self-assessment of its work and performance in the last 10 years. Indeed, we recognize that a number of initiatives have been undertaken by the Commission in protecting women and children in armed conflicts. We are mindful of the African Charter on the Rights and Welfare of the Child and the good work of the African Committee of Experts on the Rights and Welfare of the Child and other initiatives being undertaken by the United Nations and other partners. However, children continue to be forcibly recruited into armed forces, killed, maimed in violation of applicable international law, abducted, subject to sexual violence, denied humanitarian aid, and deprived of education, health, care, and access to justice in the context of armed conflict. This is an unacceptable situation. It is against this backdrop that this debate is very important. The outcome of this debate, which will enrich our understanding on the situation of children affected by armed conflicts in Africa and map out strategies and joint actions for the way forward. Let us interrogate ourselves carefully so as to know where we are and what should be done to improve the protection and care of children in conflict situations. Finally, I invite all of you to participate actively in this debate in order to help Africa release its vision of an integrated, prosperous, and peaceful Africa driven by its own citizens, thus enabling the continent to take its rightful place in the global arena. I thank you for your attention.